Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Check-In. It is game 53 of the season for the Winnipeg Jets. Tonight, they continue on this 3-game road trip. They are in Boston looking for their 5th straight win.
Should be a fun one, as Kevin Sawyer pointed out the other day. Before we get started, we should point out the fact that Kevin Sawyer did indeed take part of a hot dog in Montreal. We have photographic evidence.
We do, yes. There was
but
a
I
big
would never put it up.
No.
We can't.
Because he told us last time that he's never had a hot dog before. We applied some peer pressure. He tried it.
I didn't realize it was that easy, though.
Well, yeah.
I think it was the audience also telling him to have a hot dog. So now what did he say afterwards? Never again?
Yeah, it wasn't his favorite.
Yeah, okay.
But
so congratulations, Kevin. Sorry, first hot dog's out of the way at the age of 40, whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. Looking forward to today's check-in. We're going to get you all set for tonight's game in Boston. Obviously, a big win for the Jets in Montreal as well. They will conclude this road trip on Saturday in Washington. So looking forward to the rest of this trip as well. Very different games. You know, when we talked to Kevin, he had said that he was expecting all 3 games to look different. Obviously, there were different storylines going into all of these games as well. This game against Boston, I'm expecting it to be a fiery Bruins group. They lost, obviously, 8-1 to Winnipeg in that first meeting.
And what happened 2 days ago for Boston?
A 7-2 loss to Buffalo.
Not 1, but 2 hat tricks against.
Yeah, it was not good. So expecting maybe a very cantankerous, fiery Bruins team tonight to go up against the Jets.
And it has been a while since the Jets shellacked Boston. That was right before Christmas, but I guess people don't forget. So we'll see if that carries over. So, which brings us to our guests here this afternoon.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Should be a great one. Steve Kouleas from SiriusXM NHL Network host joins us. And there's few people in sports media that have more passion for the game of hockey than Steve does. So looking forward to having him on shortly. And then Andrew Raycroft, a former NHL goaltender who seen on a variety of different properties, but is a NESN, New England Sports Network analyst. He's going to join us as well to give us a little bit of the Bruins perspective.
Yeah, he'll have a good idea of where the Bruins are ahead of today's game. Boston, of course, in the first wild card spot, I believe, in the Eastern Conference. There's a bunch of teams clumped together on the bottom half of the standings that have a shot right now, and I know there's a lot of time to go at those 2 wild card spots in the East. So a lot going on, so we'll get Andrew to lay in that a little bit. On top of that, NESN is having an alternate broadcast. I know you know the Manning cast. Yep. For Monday Night Football. That's what NESN is doing. We'll get Andrew's perspective on how cool that is. Doing it from a hockey way, because you and I were talking. There's a lot more time between plays in football than there is in hockey. So when do you chip in, or how much are you going to talk? Andrew will give us a better perspective on how that works out a little bit later this afternoon.
Yeah, looking forward to having both of them join us. Steve's going to join us at about 12:40 Central. So he will kick things off, and then Andrew will join us afterwards. So great to see so many of you in the chat already. Hello to many of you out here to all of you, but a bunch of you have sent out the good afternoon. Nice to see you, Jamie and Sarah. So nice to see you as well. Don't forget to hit that like button as well. Hit subscribe. Phyllis is usually.
I see only 9 likes here, so I'm not 659 people so far. So maybe help us out here. I don't know. We don't get any monetary
reward. Okay, you're going to apply some guilt. I got you.
Well, it worked with Kevin Sawyer, so why not everybody else here?
It's an excellent point. You never know. You know, we'll talk more about that 8-1 Winnipeg win against Boston in a little bit, but let's get to the news of the day with the Jets. You know, yesterday was an off day. There were reports out of there that Morgan Barron was being placed on injured reserve. It had been cited as Puckpedia had it on there. Well, the news was made official this morning. The Jets releasing that he had been put on to injured reserve and that Parker Ford called up from the Manitoba Moose. So when you take a look at lines and pairings of what we are expecting for this game, it looks like we have an NHL debut coming forward. It should be great. And I love NHL debuts.
Yeah, they're great. We're going to see the rookie lap too, but Parker played at Providence, real close, obviously.
About 30 minutes away
from TD Garden
today.
Thank you.
He's
that's journalism.
He's from Rhode Island, but 3rd season with the Moose. The Moose obviously have had a tough go of it this season, but looking forward, and we'll talk more about Parker as well. You also notice a change on the blue line. Logan Stanley with Colin Miller. So Miller drawing in, and looks like Connor Hellebuck will be the starter again tonight.
Which is, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yes. So
So that's not a surprise. I did see someone ask, though, about goaltenders. I haven't seen who Boston is starting with, but it will be Hellebuck for the Jets. So a little bit more about Parker for those that maybe haven't been following along with the Moose as well, or as much. I mentioned undrafted. He's got 11 goals, 17 points. He's a -3 in 36 games, but when you look, I mean, the Moose have really struggled this season. So -3 isn't bad, notable.
No, it is pretty notable, I think, in some ways, because another thing with Parker, he's an annoying guy to play against. So you'll notice that today. And
is he a prick?
I think before Cole Perfetti was a prick, he was a prick first. So if you're going to have that type of race, it's funny how we wouldn't even say that word the other day. Now it's just rolling off the top.
Well, I mean, people were upset that we didn't say it. So now we have to. Morgan mentioned out week to week. According to Scott O'Neill, the upper body injury is suffered on that hit against Kirby Dach in Montreal.
Yes.
Morgan had played every game this season, but Parker gets the opportunity. And one of the things, if you remember, so Brad Lambert had been called up and is on this trip as well. But something that Scott O'Neill spoke about before this season even began was that when opportunities present itself, they very much wanted to try to fill the opening with a player that suited that style of game.
Yeah.
So obviously you're not going to call up somebody that would fit in on the fourth line best, but put them into a top 6 role, vice versa as well. So Parker Ford adding a little bit, also a little bit of physicality, which they can use in this lineup, especially going against this Bruins team and with the likes of Lowry and Morgan out.
Those are two big bodies that are missing out of the lineup too. And so another opportunity too for the third line with Rasmus Kupari has been fantastic. Scored the other night in Montreal. Also haven't given the top line enough props for what they did in the Canadiens game. The first 10 minutes did not look good.
It did not. No, there was a lack of urgency in the first 10 minutes.
And they addressed it, and it was a lot of it to have to do with the top line. It was phenomenal. Kyle Connor, 2 more goals. Mark Scheifele, another goal. But how about the play from David Gustafsson at the end of the second period? There wasn't much time left. Out muscles, wins the puck battle, throws the puck out front to Kyle Connor, who did the rest. But that David Gustafsson, 4-game point streak.
You love to see it.
He's been great, and I think that's just the continuity of being in the lineup every night. And Scott O'Neill addressed that after the game, that just the confidence is growing because he's playing, and we all know that's a big factor for anybody when you keep getting those opportunities. But David Gustafsson has been earning the opportunity he's been given.
Absolutely. And I mean, he was a storyline in that game against Boston back in December. Because if you remember, he ended up being in the fight with Trent Frederick.
Yes.
So a storyline that went along with that Boston game as well. You mentioned the top line and getting things done. You look when things aren't going well for your best players to be at their best.
Yeah.
That Scheifele line has 171 points now combined. That is the third most by a trio behind Edmonton and Tampa. So
not terrible players in those lines.
No. So they continue to make their presence felt.
This is a good one from James Robinson. I want to see Perfetti versus Marchand, which is kind of fantastic stuff from James Robinson. So our guest who's coming up here momentarily, big props to him because he was supposed to come on the show on Tuesday. But he let you know in numerous ways he wasn't going to be able to make it.
He was the best. So Steve and I worked together for years at the Score as well.
Basically, who didn't work at the Score, but that's another story.
That's maybe, forget talking to him about the Bruins and Jets or about Four Nations. Let's just go back down Score memory lane when we bring him on. But Steve was so great. So he said, absolutely, I'm coming on with you guys. Would love to. And then when he realized that he wasn't able to make it work on Tuesday, he emailed me. He sent me texts. 12:30 in the morning coming through. I mean, just wanted to make sure that he didn't leave us hooped on Tuesday, and said, how about Thursday? I'll absolutely be there. So looking forward to bringing the man on right now.
Well, see, there's no better way to introduce somebody than what we just did. So I don't know if Steve, with you agree with that. Could we have introduced you any better than we just did?
Well, I don't like to leave a colleague. Treat people like you'd like to be either everything matters or nothing matters. So, Jamie and Sarah, thanks for having me on the program. A lot of fun anytime. And I went to the I could have gone anywhere. I wanted to give you guys this shot and the lighting. I think your producer said they like the light. So there you go.
I love it for it. Cool. Just very quickly, we'll get into the questions about game. But what was your favorite memory of being at the score. Like for those people that don't understand what the score was like, I worked remotely because I was in a bureau in Vancouver, but obviously, I mean, you were one of the key faces of the score out of headquarters in Toronto.
Well, the biggest event was the Olympics, but that was being there, you've got like Rogers and Bell and NBC, and then from the score, it's like I'm the Jamaican, I'm the one guy with the score flag, like, by myself, and I was there when Crosby scored, which is a funny story. I was going to sleep at GM Place, but they said Obama, and I said, what about him? They said Obama. And I said, I've heard of him. They said, no, he's coming tomorrow. The dogs are coming out tonight. Meaning, if you sleep in a stall in one of the boxes, you're going to jail because and I went, oh, I got you. So our camera guy had to buy scalpers. It's okay. It all worked out in the end. But being in the building, I would compare it to this. Being at college or university, the Americans like to say college, so I have to take care of the Americans, but I'll never say locker room. It's a flipping dressing room and warm up and a summary. But anyway, being in the building was like being in university or college every day with people our age. And it was a hoot, a party. It was so crazy at one point. Honestly, they allowed us to drink on the air. That's and there was a major incident pending a court case. Sip it, Cooley.
So I don't know how to follow it up. So there is a game tonight. It is required that we talk about this. The Jets and the Bruins. Are you looking forward to a rematch? Because I know you love the game. Obviously, your passion is obvious right now. But how passionate are you about this game tonight?
Well, the Winnipeg Jets are in a statistical tie for the best team in the league, and the Bruins can't score. Like, this is not the same Bruins team. What we predicted over the last couple of years is finally coming to fruition, that the Bruins are fighting for their playoff lives. Now, in any one game, I mean, San Jose, Chicago, they're not going 0-82. So for the Bruins, they need the 2 points more than the Jets do. Charlie McAvoy's back, 7 games out. Andrew Raycroft's going to talk to you guys about that. And the Bruins are going to finish either third or fight for a wild card spot. How good's Ottawa, Detroit, Montreal, Columbus, and everybody else? And I think right now they didn't think they'd be scrambling to score, scrambling down the middle. They need Matthew Poitras. We got Cole Perfetti and Matt Poitras. I'm a hockey factory in Whitby here. So Poitras with Charlie Coyle and Marchand is trying to save the Bruins season, and Swayman's got to be better. What is he right now, guys? 895? The league average is 901. Look where Hellebuck is. He's in the penthouse, and Swayman's, well, he's not in the outhouse. So I like the Jets. I like him on the road. I like him to score. But, of course, anything can happen in a one game. But I do think statistically the game means more for Boston, guys, than it does the Jets, because they're in a desperation mode right now.
Okay, you mentioned that you like what you're seeing from the Jets. What is it that you like about them? Basically, those of us that have been around the team all year, we've seen the production from the top line, obviously Connor Hellebuck as well. But I think that sometimes you still wonder what the perception is from the Jets. Are they for real for people outside of this market? What is it that you like about Winnipeg this season?
I like their depth. There was a time that I kind of challenged Cole, and then he went out and got a hat trick because, Iafallo is so versatile. He can go up, Velarde to the second line. We talk about Lowry being out. Now, Barron, the depth of the team, Kupari goes in, is noticeable. What about Gustafsson on the F1 to get it to Kyle Connor the other day? They're one of the best well-coached teams in the league. I wish Comrie's won-loss record was better. His save percentage is above the league average, so I feel bad for him. I was happy that he won the other night. I think we look at speed. We look at depth. I mean, Gabe Velarde, the people in Windsor were saying the Kings are going to love him. Well, the Kings traded him, and if it is I heard you guys, the third best line in the league, I mean, it's crazy. I've been campaigning for Scheifele for Team Canada. It would be an atrocity if he led all Canadians in goals and Logan Thompson was the best Canadian goalie and they weren't able to play at the Four Nations. So I talk about depth. I talk about speed. I talk about team defense, the grit. They got a great Morrissey's an offensive defenseman with the complement with DeMello and all through the lineup. Last year, they got Monahan and Toffoli and it didn't work. Maybe this year you let this group do it. I don't see any weaknesses, guys. I'm looking forward to the 2 games against the Capitals. They haven't played each other yet, as you know. That could be a little President's showdown.
All right, so you're calling games for the Four Nations face-off, as we talk about that, those who aren't on the roster. I mean, there's for those of the people that aren't worked up about it yet, why should they get excited about this big international tournament that's coming up in the middle of February?
Well, if they didn't tell us Friday, I mean, speaking of the score, are we going or not? I'll let you know. They're lighting the torch. So we're going to have to know. I got to plan my kids' hockey at the time. So we officially found out on Friday. We felt that we were going. So obviously when you're involved in an event, I've covered every event. When you're covering pickleball, you think it should lead at SportsCenter. Hello, I'm covering pickleball. It should be the lead. You're on the last block, okay? Rod Smith isn't even going to voice it. Okay, I got you. So I think the excitement starts when the NHL season pauses and you see the sweater, you see the maple leaf. For you guys, I wore my Spengler Cup, 3-0 the Spengler Cup for Team Canada. So I'm putting that record on the line. Oh, and I did the Women's Four Nations, and they won that tournament too. Haley Wickenheiser in overtime. So when you see McDavid and Crosby and McKinnon and Morrissey and hopefully Scheifele wearing the maple leaf, then you can boo Kyle Connor. No, just kidding. So that's why we should get excited.
Cool. I love it. I love listening to you on Power Play on Sirius XM. Love the energy, as do all of the people in the chat right now that are watching this. One of the things, though, to ask, because I don't know if you heard us say this before, Kevin Sawyer, so Jets are in Montreal. He said he'd never had a hot dog, period. So we said, everyone talks about the hot dogs in Montreal. People in here are wanting to know, do you like the hot dogs at the Bell Center?
I love them, but because I'm slightly older, I mean, I'm an 88 birth, so I'm slightly older, and I was at the closing of the Forum. There was nothing like a Forum hot dog. It was even better. Like, it was so good, I would have to tell my mom, it's better than your food. Your hot cheese.
And that's a slippery slope, too. If you start telling mom somebody else's cooking is better than hers, it's not a good place to be. So I give you credit for your confidence.
Yeah, Steven, what are you saying, Steven? What are you saying, Steven?
Especially a hot dog, too. So,
well, we hope that we're going to see you out in Winnipeg one day. Cool. And we'll introduce you to the Jet Dog out here, the version of the hot dog out here at Jets games. But thank you so much, my friend, for joining us. We love your passion always. Love your enthusiasm. Have a great call at Four Nations. And for everyone watching, make sure that you tune in weekdays to Power Play to be able to listen to more of Cool's take on the NHL.
Thank you so much. Anytime you want me. And thank you for coming on my show. We like to pass the puck back and forth. Thank you. And enjoy the tournament, everybody.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks so much, Cool.
Steve Kouleas.
As I said, and I love people saying, look at his energy.
So I've watched a lot of, I watch NFL Network, you watch NHL Network. The NFL analysts have a lot of passion for the game. So Kouleas, to me, is what we need more of for hockey. Because hockey is a great game. You just need more energy when it comes to analyzing it and delivering it. Because it's Kouleas is entertaining us, and that's what this is all about. We're supposed to entertain you guys. Yes, give you information, but you guys want to walk away from this and go, that was a great show. I'm entertained. That was a good half hour.
What I always appreciated, I mean, not only is it Cool's encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to it, but when he would do late shows, and I would always, I do not understand how he has that much energy so late in the evening. Always brings the passion. And thanks again to Steve for joining us. We are going to have Andrew Rakoff join us shortly to talk about a little bit more from Boston's perspective. We heard Steve comment on some of the struggles that obviously that they have had.
Yeah.
That are they going to finish third in the Atlantic? Are they going to finish in a wild card spot going down to the wire? The Jets coming into this game, as I had mentioned off the top, game 53 of the season for them. They are 15-9 on the road. The Bruins right now, 16-7-3 at home, but it's been very back and forth for Boston, 5-4-1 in their last 10 games. The Jets 7-2-1, which is the best 10-game stretch right now in the Western Conference. As they continue to put separation between themselves and divisional opponents, Minnesota, Dallas, but then trying to separate themselves from Edmonton, and Vegas as well, as you fight for that first in the Western Conference.
Which we all know that's what the whole goal is, or what to us anyways. We're telling the Jets they need to finish first in the Western Conference. Not that they need us to tell them what to do, but that's our goal for them. I'm asking, how long will Barron be out? We're not quite sure about that at this moment, but
listed as week to week at the moment for those that missed it. Right off the top, Barron.
Thanks, Donovan. He just said Barron out week to week.
Oh, yes. Out week to week. Parker Ford set to make his NHL debut. And in his backyard, Jamie and I, the sentimental types, looking forward to being able to see another NHL debut. Haven't seen them yet.
It's funny how it doesn't get boring because you're just excited for that person. Because I've got to know Parker a little bit. I remember his first training camp here with the Jets. He's been a great player for the Manitoba Moose, but just anytime, especially with family nearby or the opportunity for family to come watch it, that's tremendous. And it's a great story. Another opportunity or another situation where you pay your dues in the American Hockey League and you have these great moments coming up. So very excited to see Parker Ford this evening against the Boston Bruins, where he played at Providence and at the NCAA. So and we'll be matching up with David Gustafson and Alex Iafallo on that Jets fourth line. So we'll have to see how that turns out tonight. But perfect guy, I think, for this type of game. It's going to be a little bit gritty, and Parker Ford is gritty and then some.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to what we see. And, we talk about, I think that there's going to be a lot of entertainment in this game here tonight. But then also, as Steve had mentioned too, we talk about that the game to finish off this road trip is in Washington, but haven't really discussed the fact that obviously those will be the top two teams in the league fighting it out. So
yeah, and we'll
it adds a whole nother dimension.
That's why this road trip is so special, because of, anytime you play in Montreal, it's great. A lot of storylines for that one, but this road trip is just so loaded with it. And I think we kind of figured the Jets would be good this year, but I don't think anybody had Washington being as good as they have been this year at all.
I will go on record and say that I did not anticipate Winnipeg being at this point right now. I thought that they would be good. I didn't necessarily know that they would be as consistent as what we've seen and at the level. Obviously, was confident that they would be in a playoff position, but no, I don't think that I would have had either of these two teams battling for 1-2 at this stage.
Well, even with, we'll get back to Boston, I promise. Washington was it was pretty easy to say they were the worst of the 16 teams that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And their departure from their first round of playoffs showed that. But just for the turnaround for them, and you're wondering what they were going to do with Alex Ovechkin and his chase of Gretzky's record. How were they going to do this? Well, they've reloaded and they look pretty good. And Logan Thompson has been probably another surprise.
Yeah.
How well he's played this year for them. So, Dan, I agree with you. Jets pegged them well. I had them in top 3. But I could see why people were thinking they were going to be a wild card team this year.
You thought top 3 in the league?
Top 3, in the Central Division.
For it.
But not this way. And then you think outside of this market about how the Jets were perceived.
Yeah.
It's been very satisfying this year so far. Talking to people at other networks. Whenever I do hits on other radio stations and stuff, it's very fun to say.
Yeah. You take a look at, there's a number of people that are right now, Dan, Jets fans, that I had the Jets pegged in the wild card spot. A variety of different things. I think, and there was so much to like with not a lot of turnover, but some pieces that obviously changed, but with not a lot of turnover, that to see the Jets be able to perform the way that they have, again, consistently and with the style of game, I think is what's so encouraging. As we wait to see whether or not Andrew is able to join us, why don't we take a look? It's one of my favorites. So he isn't starting tonight, but we all know that Eric Comrie is one of the most popular Winnipeg Jets in the room, amongst fans as well. And I think even with those that are not necessarily Winnipeg Jets fans, they just love the energy of Eric Comrie. Wouldn't you know, made the great decision to mic him up just a short while ago.
Another stick broken. No, I'll tape it up later tomorrow, but I have enough 3 already. It's fine. Thank you, though. I hate breaking sticks. Oh, shoulder save. Oh, that hurt. Ow.
What have I scored you, like 10 games?
Like twice. But there's no more
chance. You got a mic on, don't lie.
Hey, whoa.
Don't lie just because you got a mic on.
No. He scored twice the whole year. You got your stats behind you too, so. Good save. Great job, boys. Hi. Good job, big man. Great job. Nice block there, Pete. Great job, Bucky.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Why?
So many things.
Did you think the 5-hole one went in?
Yeah.
You saw your ear like,
I didn't know if it went in, but like, I had no idea what it was.
Great job, Bucky.
Buddy.
Keep going, buddy. The old town road, I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. In the back, great job, you two. Nice try, Stan. Shoot. What a shot, buddy. Saw that all this morning. Holy cow, were you sniping me this morning? Oh my god. Oh, save. Good goaltending this game. Oh, good save again. Hey, Cooper Cup.
Hey, it's on.
Hey!
Great job, Ben.
Good job, Betty.
You watch yourself, 18.
Oh, Shawzy. What do you got for me? Someone threw their toque on the ice. Watch show. No, I'm nothing. Oh, bear dog. Great shift, lads. Nice try there. Ow! Hey, bud. Little Bon Jovi. Deadliest catch. Yeah, I remember Deadliest catch. Were they catching tuna?
Yeah.
What about Bon Jovi?
It was good.
Well, I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't mic'd up.
I like to give you credit when
Sure.
didn't take part of some things.
That's right.
It was probably your idea, wasn't it?
I don't.
Okay. We'll just say it was. What a great idea you came up with, miking Eric Comrie.
You know what? As many
No
people
one
said, when
ever
you look-
think to do
I know,
that.
when you look at the comments off of it, when you look on the various social media platforms, that people just love his energy. And you can see that, I mean, in the comments here too, I love him. How can you not love this player? He's
Right.
pure supportive, positive attitude. He is so likable. And we are currently in the process of editing Home Ice with him.
Yes.
It's
So what's
The
his wife like?
exuberance.
Is his wife just as energetic or not even close?
I don't know if anyone can be.
True.
She's very nice.
Steve Kouleas.
It's true. Oh,
Yeah.
could you imagine those
Steve
two
Kouleas and
together?
Eric Comrie together in a podcast? Yes, please.
Would be great.
Yeah.
She's his wife Haley is delightful, but no, I don't think that anybody matches the I don't know, pure energy,
Mhm.
wholesomeness of Eric. So looking forward for that one to be able to be coming out soon. And Mary Jane, we need to have Comrie mic'd up all the time. Isn't that
Mhm.
the truth? That would be
We would like to have him on ground control, just like a co-host with me all the time. So if we're gonna have to work on that with his agent, clearly clear with PR and Chevy and
everyone else.
Yeah, everyone
But
else.
wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't
Yeah.
you guys love to see Eric and be able to listen to Eric on a regular basis? The
Yeah.
questions that you do a fantastic job
He'd be better.
well, you two would complement each other.
But he knows more about them, so he could get to the bottom
Right.
of things, and I could just follow up.
That would be great. As we go through here, don't know what happened to Andrew. Something maybe came up with the broadcast. Maybe he's on an alternate cast right now.
Got scared.
Potentially.
Didn't want to face us.
He said, you know what? Steve set the bar up here today.
Yeah.
Maybe Andrew just said that he didn't have the coffee
I
today.
cannot
Did not
match
have
that
the energy,
energy,
which
yeah.
actually those two are calling games together for the Four Nations. So
That'd
hopefully
be
we'll
awesome.
be able to have Andrew join us on another broadcast as well, or another show as well for it, because I love listening to him. He's on a variety of different podcasts.
Very good.
Yeah, and does a great job as well. Mentioned on the Nesson broadcasts. So always like to get his perspective, but unfortunately it looks like it's not going to work out today.
Sometimes it happens to get busy on a game day, so we
You
always
get busy, and sometimes I think that we've all been guilty of this before, that you look at the clock and go, oh no. Oh, and if your phone's on
no.
silent, are you the type of person that leaves your phone on silent?
all the time.
I leave my phone on silent all the time, and then you get the panicked messages from
Yeah.
people. Are you still coming?
Why
in?
is it going to voicemail? Why is it going to voicemail? Never happened to me.
That's Donovan. I mean, let's be real. How do you follow up Cooley? That's
Yeah.
that
That's
is a
logic.
great question. Yes. All right. So we're going to send you over to Winnipeg Sports Talk
Yes.
as well. Get you ready. We are going to be back here on Saturday getting set.
Not in the studio, though.
We're just going to be remote because monster trucks is going on here at Canada Life Center. And there are many things that we can try to compete with. We cannot compete with that going on simultaneously.
And I asked to do the show from a monster truck, but they won't let me.
That would be so great.
Yeah.
Oh, if we could put a GoPro or something on you.
My gosh, the possibilities, but listen, closed-minded people don't help out at all.
Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Just a reminder very quickly, tonight's game against the Bruins is on TSN 3. You are also able to listen to it, as always, on CJOB, Power 97.
That's very Kouleas like energy you're exuberating there.
There we go. We will see you on Saturday.
See you, babe.
Thanks so much for checking in.